in this video, we're going to talk about what's called pick and pick techniques, which are ways that you can use two colors working in tandem to create some really nice patterns. So, and we're going to just cover 3 simple patterns that you can make. We're going to start with one that consists of alternating one row of each color. So I'll go 1 row in white and then back 1 row in green. So I'll start with my white, making sure I'm entering in the right shed because I've tucked in this way. All right, so just checking to make sure that's the right shed there. Pull my white through, and then I'm going to enter my green. You can enter it from either side, depending on the pattern that you're doing. Oftentimes things will sort of switch around, so you don't have to really think of that too much, whether you're going the same direction or the opposite. I'm just gonna go the same. Tucking my ends in, and now I'm gonna pick up my white again. And when you're using these pick and pick techniques, it's important to think about to remember to actually cross your yarns when you're starting a new row, because as you can see here, so I went in one shed with my white, and then I went in the second shed with my green. So now I'm back on that same shed that my white went through, and it's going through it again. But if I were to just go ahead and put it straight through, you can see here I'm leaving this warp thread out. So we want to make sure to cross this, and in this case I need to cross it under. Sometimes it's sort of depending on what's going on, you kind of have to feel out what direction you need to cross it. But you can see, like, I could cross it under or over, but then I would have to go back under and I'd have this big clumsy twist. So just kind of thinking through logically what you have to do. So I'm crossing it, and then you can see here how that's just caught right there by that green. Picking up my green. And so this pattern that you can see emerging is, even though I'm going through one way all the way with each color, I'm not actually creating a solid horizontal line. Instead, I'm actually creating a vertical line pattern, because each color is only occupying one shed, which consists of passing over half of the warp threads, so that you can see here I've entered this into the wrong thread, being distracted and trying to explain all this stuff. So every other warp end is covered by white, and all the other ones are covered by green, and that's what's creating this pattern. And you can do really interesting things with this, where you could go, from the green occupying this set and then switching it so that the green occupies what's now occupied by the white, and the white by the green, and then that will sort of create, you know, a new set of lines that kind of, and you know, you could go back and forth and create a kind of a checkered pattern, or other kinds of things can happen with that, and that are pretty fun to experiment with. So that is the first one, and with each of these, it's good to practice more than I'm showing you, but I just want to get you through this quickly so that you're not watching me weave forever. So that's the first one. The second one, I'm going to show you how to actually create a line, and the only thing that you have to do to create a line is make sure that you are weaving through at least 2 rows so that you are getting that one color to occupy both sheds. So I'm going to do that with the white first, remembering to cross it. And I'm just going to show you a very thin line. We're just going to go 1, 2. Now I'm picking up the green. Passing it twice, and you can see how that white has created a line. And now the green's created a line as well, and you can continue with this striping pattern, and you can also create, you know, if you can create an ombre effect as well if you keep increasing the width of, say I kept doing a thin green line but increasing the width of my white line, I would continuously get a color effect that came closer and closer to white. So that's a sort of shading technique that's possible with that even. So that is a stripe, and yeah, that's infinitely variable in width. It's really just a stripe at the end of the day is just a small section of weaving, but the point of this is just to show you that you need at least 2 passes in order to create that pattern. Okay, and now the third technique I'm going to show you is one where we're going to pass the we're going to pass one color once, with the green. Now I'm going to pass the white twice, and remembering when I intersect with the green to cross underneath the green, because, and this is not only to make sure that it's not gonna lose that last string, because it actually won't this time because it will be entering a different shed, but also to keep your edges neat, because if you start dangling this down while we build up here, it's gonna have to jump a bit on that edge and create a little bit of a less clean look. So it's always good to just cross it to make sure everything is at the same height. And now I'm going to enter my green. And so what's going on here is that because now I'm entering the green into the opposite shed rather than the same shed, it's giving me, it's kind of creating this alternating dotted effect. So now picking up my white again, crossing it under. And show you one more row with the green. And white. And those are your pick and pick techniques.